Oh my gosh, that picture up there, I just, it's one of my favorite pictures ever. Good afternoon, everyone. We're just looking for just a few people here. Is Lori here? Lori Nunez? Okay, perfect. Alicia and Julia? Okay, great. I'm going to come and talk to you guys in just a minute, just so you know why I'm asking. And Caitlin. Perfect. Thank you very much. We're not starting yet, so it's some time here, but I'll talk to you guys. What I'll do is I'll just stay there. Well, we were talking about this process first. And then I've got just all the doctors. Talk about what's and then as soon as that's done, afternoon, everyone. Would you please stand in honor of the family and honor of the parents? Well, good afternoon, everyone. And I want to say welcome here today. My name is Jeff Renault. I'm a pastor across the river in Langley. And I want to say that I have the utmost privilege of leading us today in remembering an absolutely incredible young woman in Karin. I want to address all of you who are watching via live stream today, and I want to say on behalf of the family, thank you. Thank you for being here virtually with us today. I want to say that your presence, in other words, you watching today, you taking the time and putting everything else aside from what you could be doing on a Saturday afternoon to tune in and to watch this today is not only honoring to Karin and her beautiful life that she lived, but you watching and being a part of this today is also tremendously honoring to the family. The family have told me that they have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and support by all of you, both all of you online and all of you in the room today that are not family. They've been overwhelmed. And I want to say every gesture, every card sent, every bouquet of flowers, and there are a lot of flowers at the home. I've been there and it's beautiful. Every word of condolence that's been written, everything, they've read them and they want to say thank you to you for the show of support to them in this time. I think this is the beauty of community seen in action. And I know Karin was such a deep-rooted part of this community. I was told that if we all gathered in one place, we certainly wouldn't be here today. And in a sense, this is a grief upon a grief because we can't all be together in one place to grieve and to feel the community visibly. I was told that if we did gather in one place, that one of Karin's friends had said that we might even need to rent out Rogers Arena to be there.
But I love that sense of community. I think Karin knew that she was never alone. I think Karin's family know that they're not alone in this time, and they will not be alone moving forward. There's this amazing quote that I love by an author that I really appreciate. His name is C.S. Lewis. And he talks about friendship, in a sense, community. And he says, friendship is actually unnecessary, just like philosophy or art. It has no survival value. And yet it is one of those things that gives value to survival. Karin brought an incredible amount of survival value to us who are gathered today. I want to turn my attention to the immediate family, to Jen, and to Anthony, and to Justin, and to Jacob, to the rest of Karin's family that is here today. I want to say our thoughts are on you as you feel so much. And though we admit that we do not know what you feel today, even for any of us who have experienced loss coming into today, our loss is not your loss. We can never ever say that we are walking down or know what the road is that you're walking down today. And my guess is that there's a sense of emotions that you come in today with a sense of acceptance, but also mixed in with this sense of this being extremely surreal. And so I want to say that we all acknowledge Karin's loss today. And please do know that you are never alone. As I mentioned when we met together at your home earlier this week, you are now reaping the roots that you have sown into this community for years and years. And as you have been there for others, people are here for you. And remember that every single moment of the seasons ahead. It's this reciprocal love and support that you need to know that you are a part of. Karin is dearly loved, and so are you. For everyone watching on live stream, those of you who are present today, please understand that part of our time together is to acknowledge Karin's loss and to say goodbye. And even saying those words are difficult. We grieve so deeply because we have loved and have been loved so deeply. And to be honest, as I've been processing this today, I so dearly wish as a pastor that I could explain difficulty and pain in life. I wish I could explain why 16-year-old girls with hearts of gold get cancer. I wish I could explain any sickness and disease for that matter. And I wish I could explain the grief that we feel and the heartache that comes with us. But the very nature of grief is that we just don't understand it. We simply cannot comprehend in our minds why such hard things take place. In many ways, to be honest, I don't think we're meant to. Sickness and pain and brokenness and suffering are an unfortunate part of our broken world. And today we are reminded in a new way that life is fragile. So can I encourage you all today to grieve on your own timeline and in your own journey, to be easy on yourself to what you will feel for as long as you will feel it. Well, we know that we grieve today. But please also know that grief is not the reason we have gathered today. We have marked today on our calendar to either tune into this or to dress up and to be here, because we have this beautiful opportunity as we grieve. We have this opportunity today to gather to celebrate Karin for everything she was. See, this doesn't remove our grief, but it does change our focus for today. You see, we have this beautiful opportunity now as we've all come together to celebrate a person that we truly fall short of words to describe her with any sense of justice. I never had the privilege personally of meeting Karin, or I should say I never had the privilege of knowing her, but I did have the chance and privilege of meeting her. And that was through sitting with her family through being in the home that she lived in for many, many years, for being in her room and to see a little glimpse of her and her life. Just a few words to describe her. Karin was kind, authentic, courageous, an overcomer, a perfectionist, a thrill seeker, a mentor, a shoe and hoodie lover. I think you all may know that as well. And she was a natural athlete. She was fearless, adventurous, loyal, social, smart, easygoing, and a master at color coding her closet. Trust me, I saw it. It's perfect. She was also a perfect sister who never ever bugged her brothers. Okay, I think I threw that one in on my own. Maybe she bugged them once or twice. See, that's a lot of adjectives, and that's only scratching the surface of who Karin really was. And so because Karin was loved by so many people, we have a number of people who will be sharing briefly with us today. And all of these words give us a real rounded perspective of who she was. You see, not one or two people can describe her, and not even everyone coming today can describe her fully. But in everything she was more than just a kind girl with a big heart. We all know that. She was an inspiration to literally hundreds, if not thousands of people around her. And as Jen and Anthony said to me, she's a girl who has definitely left her imprint on this world. And so today we just stop everything. We take a deep breath. We bring our emotions into today. We put Karin squarely in the spotlight as she truly deserves. And we honor her for the incredible impact she has made and for the ripple effect that is continuing to be felt from her life. Would you join me for a moment as we stop and we give thanks to God for Karin and her life today? Heavenly Father, we stop even in these few moments of quiet. And I think we are reminded of the things that matter in life. And yes, we all put our efforts towards things that we do. But God, thank you that that doesn't define who we are. I believe much more so it's the people we live life with, the relationships that we have, and the people that influence us. And today, Heavenly Father, we think of Karin, and that she is so squarely in our sights today because she has influenced so many people. God, I want to pray that you would bring comfort to the family today, even in the questions that just simply cannot be answered. And Father, I pray that you would open our eyes even a little bit more to see just how beautiful a human being that Karin was, and that her legacy lives on strong, and it will for so long after. And so God, we say thank you. Thank you for Karin, for who she was and how she lived her life in every way. Amen. Amen. Well, to start us off in sharing about Karin today, I want to invite a very close family friend, Steve Frost. Steve, would you come and share at this time?
I'm Karin's first coach and the father of one of her lifelong friends, Kiana. This week and last, I've held my son in his arms while he sobbed uncontrollably. I've held my daughters too while their tears flowed. My wife and I have comforted each other, uncertain of the path forward, and I'm sure many of you feel the same way we do. It is the pain of having lost someone so important and so impactful in our lives. Tina and I recently sat across the kitchen table from Jen and Anthony and Grandpa Michael, searching for memories and for stories that might illuminate the energy, the joy, the love that a single young girl gifted our community. How can a grieving family understand the magic of their daughter, their sister, their granddaughter, their niece? The magic is hidden in the moments we share together. And when you string enough of these moments together, it reveals the story of a beautiful life. Sports brought Karin into my family's life, and so many of us together. Some playground moms suggested that Jen write a complete stranger's name, Coach Frosty, on a registration form that landed a 5-year-old Karin on my soccer team. I remember she had bangs, glasses, and this awesome grin. Actually, it was a slightly mischievous smile, and Karin smiled a lot. She conveyed a sense of excitement and vitality. She was always happy, always laughing, and everyone wanted to be around her. That first year coaching, when I came to admire Karin's dad, Anthony. Every practice, he sat in the far corner of the gym, reading stories and doing homework with either Jacob or Justin. And then I coached Justin, and Anthony sat in the corner with Karin. It was a father's love for his children. Family starts with love, and the Khuong kids got lots of it. When we started the basketball program at Castle Park, Tina invited Karin to join. Later we learned from Jen, Karin had Mandarin lessons at the very same time we were planning to practice. So Karin had to decide if she wanted to be in Mandarin class or in the gym. Imagine for a moment Karin choosing Mandarin over basketball. I'm picturing that awesome grin right now. At basketball, Karin was incredible. I remember pulling Anthony and Jen aside and telling them they had to come watch her practice. We didn't play games back then. Tina and I were so excited with the group, we would lay in bed wondering how many championships we could win. I know now that the Poco Galaxy girls and Tina and Coach Mike, we didn't come together to win games or championships, although we did win many of those. The Galaxy found each other for this moment now. Basketball brought us together so we could all share in the magic of 2K and share experiences that we will always remember. Karin loved basketball. She was skillful and creative. She was talented yet humble. What made her so special, though, was how determined and how competitive she was in the moment. Coaches call it grit, and Karin had it. She had the ability to dig in when it mattered most. I've seen Karin hit game-winning shots. I've seen her guard the best player on the best team in Canada at the Junior NBA Championship. Karin made her cry by halftime. That's how tough and competitive she was. But even with her tenacity, she was such an inclusive teammate. Kate Cartner joined the Galaxy girls for the Washington State Championships. She was so nervous at that first practice. Kate remembers the first girl that welcomed her to the team and partnered with her in practice. That was Karin. That was 2K. Castle Park and the Castle community played a huge part in shaping Karin into the person she became. She was blessed with supportive and caring teachers who all loved her. Mrs. Olson and Miss Sparks had the wonderful foresight to select 3 girls and Enzo into their grade 1 class. Miss Olson and Miss Sparks still refer to this group as her dream students. Karin, Kiana, and Caitlin became besties. They could giggle an afternoon away, no problem. We watched them sing and perform in plays such as Oliver and Charlie Brown, and dance, hip hop, and jazz. They know the depth of a beautiful friendship. And you're going to hear from Caitlin today. Karin once wrote in a school yearbook that she wanted to be a basketball coach. She was thrilled when her grade 5 teacher, Mrs. Braithwaite, asked her and Kiana to teach basketball in PE. Karin also helped coach our youngest, Tegan's basketball team. Karin had the patience of a saint, and she relished being a role model and a leader for those kids. Miss Braithwaite remembers a vibrant girl, one of the most positive human beings she has ever taught. In her grade 5 leaving ceremony, Karin offered this simple piece of wisdom to her classmates. Believe in yourself. Karin was always dancing, telling stories, and making people laugh. Her energy brought everyone together, all of us together. Karin's grade 8 teacher, Miss Thomas, recalls a kind, caring, funny, and relaxed girl. In fact, Karin was so chill, she often looked at school as optional. Karin liked her sleep. Miss Thomas and Karin had a unique and special rapport. As part of Miss Thomas' morning routine, she would call or text Karin to see what time she could expect her to arrive at school. One day, Mrs. Thomas had Kiana call, and Karin answered with a groggy voice, clearly having just woken up. Karin told them that she would be there in 15 minutes. 15 minutes later, Key and Miss Thomas called back. Karin explained that she drank some pineapple juice, and just now she remembered that she was allergic to it. Karin said her throat was scratchy and it was getting harder to breathe. Then she hung up. The whole class was listening to the conversation, and everyone was worried. Did they need to call her parents? Rush her some Benadryl? Did they need to do something? A short time later, Karin strolled into the classroom. She looked at everyone and she said, "What did I miss?" And then she flashed that mischievous grin. Karin once sat at our kitchen counter and told us she wanted to be a geologist. People used to think she was really shy because she walked around with her head down. What she was actually doing was looking at the ground for unique rocks. And Grandpa Michael gave her a rock polishing machine to inspire her. Karin changed her mind, of course, and later she told her friends she wanted to be an interior designer. And this made total sense when you consider how often Karin decorated her bedroom or changed rooms altogether with her brothers. Karin loved to dance, and the Galaxy girls know this. Karin and Alicia would often dance while they braided their teammates' hair before a game. And I was with the Galaxy girls in Oregon when Karin and Alicia jumped out of our van and dance in a parking lot with girls from another basketball team. And soon complete strangers were all dancing together in the parking lot. And these moments made my heart smile. We will forever be shaped by Karin's presence, and yet she is gone. None of us can connect the dots of our lives forward. We do not know how our choices, love or friendship, this sport or that, this coach standing here or that one over there, influence our tomorrow. All I know is that 2K brought us together, and for my family, all of these moments together were a beautiful life, albeit way too short. And we miss her so much. May her memories be a blessing to all of us, and may we all be 2K strong forever. Thank you.
Steve, thank you so much for your beautiful words, and what I think speaks of just a glimpse of the community that she loved and enjoyed and that she was a part of. So thank you so much for that. Next, I have the privilege of reading something that Karen's oncologist from Children's Hospital prepared. His name is Dr. Rod, and I have the privilege of reading these words for him on his behalf today. Dr. Rod says this. He says, I first met Karen on her 14th birthday. I remember walking into a room full of teenage girls who were talking and laughing, with a smiling Karen at the center of the girls and her parents and brothers watching from the side. What made a normal birthday celebration abnormal was the location. She had been admitted to the oncology unit of BC Children's Hospital with a swollen leg. I had seen her scans and knew that she had something that would be very hard to treat. And this was confirmed with the biopsy that showed a stage 4 rhabdomyosarcoma. I realized very quickly, however, that Karen was as tough as they come. To have that much cancer filling your body and still be playing high-level basketball told me a lot about her. I also saw that she had an amazing support around her, her friends and the basketball community, and most importantly, brothers and parents who would rally around her. So instead of planning a typical treatment plan, which I knew wouldn't cure her, we discussed going down a more aggressive route with higher doses of chemo than was typically used, and finishing off with a stem cell transplant. In my chats with her, we often talked about her treatment in basketball terms, and so we wanted to give her cancer a, quote, full court press. I look after many really tough kids, but Karen was as tough as they come. I don't think I ever had a patient be able to hide the physical and emotional pain like she did, or tolerate harsh chemo as well as she did. Karen and I spoke a lot about basketball during the next 2 years. I wish as a high school player that I had her talent. I regret that I told her that Steve Nash scored 61 points on me back in the day, as she would bug me about that time and time again later on. After her cancer came back, our talks became less about basketball and more about life. She was incredibly insightful. She saw what was important in life and knew what she was doing every step of the way. She wanted more time with friends, more time with her family. How she loved the experiences that she had been doing with teenager things. Yes, she told me a few of your funny stories, friends who are here. But as a doc, my lips are sealed, he says, so don't worry about them. They're not going to come out here. She loved all the travel that you did as a family. The Ice Hotel in Sweden is literally the coolest wish choice that I have ever encountered. Dr. Roth says she was not only strong, but she was incredibly brave. She enrolled on a study where we sequenced her tumor and found a vulnerability in her tumor that we thought we could exploit with a medication. However, this was a new medication that has never been used before in combination with regular chemo. Karen was the very first patient to receive this combination of medicine in Canada, and it was so brave for her and her family to go down this route. We hoped for a miracle, or at the very least to give her more time to do crazy things like jump out of an airplane. As an athlete, she knew her body, and after a period where the new treatment helped her, she knew the cancer was back. Much of what we talked about over the last few months of her life was about living each day to its fullest, and that is exactly what she did. She needed information, and when no one else was in the room, she would ask me the tough questions that she didn't want to ask in front of her family. She knew when the right time was for her to stop taking chemo, as there is always a balance between quality of life and quantity. She was mature beyond her years. The song she told her mom about, Wishing Well, was her telling us about her experience. Jen told me about Karin's song during a visit on her final morning. I went home with a plan to return after she passed away, and the nurses were going to phone me when that happened. After dinner, I just had a gut feeling that I needed to go to the hospital. In retrospect, I really do feel Karin sent me some type of signal that it was time. And so I jumped in my car, and on the drive into the hospital, I decided to listen to Wishing Well for the first time. It gave me goosebumps when the hospital called to let me know that Karin had passed away. The phone rang as the song played the line, I can't breathe, waiting for the exhale. Having had a couple of weeks to think about it, I can totally see Karin smirking from the afterlife, knowing that she got me good with her timing. As a pediatric cancer doc, we love the connections that we make with our patients and families. The Khuong family were amazing throughout. My mentor told me that over one's career, there will be a small group of kids that you can count on the fingers of your hands that you have a real special bond with. It didn't take long for me to know that 2K was going to take up one of those spots on my bench. In fact, there is no doubt that she is in my starting 5. I will miss seeing her in my clinic, wearing her hat and shades and pretending to sleep whenever any of us entered the room until her smirk gave her away. To her family and friends, she talked to me so much about all of you and how much she cared for each and every one of you, especially her brothers and her parents. Hugs to you from all of the oncology team at BC Children's. She will not be forgotten. Hashtag 2K strong forever. Next to share is Karin's great aunt, Debbie. Debbie, would you come at this time?
That was all so amazing. I can't have enough words to honor Karin enough. I do have some memories to share from myself and for some others that really loved her. Karin was my great niece, and what a great niece she was. Her adventurous spirit and sense of humor brought happiness to so many. Her smile and laughter are what I'll remember the most. I loved her dimples too. My daughter Rachel, she remembers when they used to visit when they were all just kids. They had so much fun playing games and prank calling Rachel's friends. She also remembers Karin teasing her as she quickly grew taller than her older cousin. My sister Michelle, Karin's grandmother, remembers time they spent swimming together while in Thailand. She showed her all her somersaults, 15 of them in a row. Karin was so proud and dizzy afterwards. Michelle says that she was such a shining star and so full of energy. My sister Annika admired Karin's zest for life and the pleasure she took in our Christmas gift exchange game, especially when it came to stealing gifts. As we encourage this, she also has fond memories of Karin camping on Vancouver Island at Loveland Bay, watching Karin tubing on the lake, always wanting to go faster. What my mom, Karin's great-grandma, remembers so fondly is Jen coming to visit almost weekly when the kids were little. They always all loved the Dutch soup with all the little meatballs in it. Among our family times together, September birthday celebrations became an annual family get-together. Karen's, Justin's, and my son Stephen's birthdays are all in September. Our last September birthday get-together was on the 25th of just last month. I was so happy when Jen called and said that Karen would be up to it. That evening, Karen, she laughed and smiled. She kept our spirits light. My mom wore a face shield that evening, and I'm so glad she did. Not for the reasons that you might be thinking, though. When my mom tried to eat her veggies and dip, she plunked it right onto her face shield. She did it more than once. And Karen just cracked up laughing. And of course, we all joined in. I have to thank you, Mom, for giving us that precious laughter all at your expense. Karen's ability to smile and laugh, despite the challenges she faced, was so inspiring, to say the very least. I wasn't sure if I could bring myself to speak today, but if there's one thing Karen taught me, it is to be brave. With Karen in my thoughts so often, I tried to write a poem. I tried to capture thoughts in words. A few words I thought she might say. This poem is meant for everyone, but most especially Jen, Anthony, Jacob, and Justin. I know I am your care bear, and that I'll always be. Little did you know how much you'd care for me. You gave me strength to carry on, even when the days were long. Until it was too much for me, you held me up, you kept me strong. I know you had big plans for me, so many hopes and dreams. For you, I strive to be my best, way better than the rest. You filled my life with love and laughter. So much I've seen and done. You cheered me on in basketball, shared the joy when my team won. I'm shooting hoops in heaven now. The courts are pretty sweet. And just in case you're wondering, I'm super hard to beat. I know your hearts are broken. I know you are in pain. Although it seems impossible, you must go on again. So if you lay awake at night, please don't be so sad. Cherish our sweet memories, the best times that we had. Take care of my brothers and all of you, each other. Smile when you think of me. Forever in your hearts I'll be. Thank you.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Julia.
This is a poem I wrote for Karen last year, and she wrote me a poem too, and I wanted to read it to you guys. When I got the devastating news, I felt like a part of me I was going to lose. I imagined my heart was filled with stone, and my feelings couldn't be shown. I will be here for you forever, and just know we will get through this together. I know you will be able to end this fight because you are my brightest light. Knowing you are going through all this pain made me feel like it should always rain. I will be here to comfort you like a hot chocolate on a cold, rainy day. And that is a feeling that will never go away. You may have some fear, and that makes me shed some tears, but I know you're even stronger than a lion fighting its prey, and I have no more words to say. Your smile is what lights up my day, and that's what makes me always want to stay. This will be a memory I will never understand because this was never supposed to be planned.
I'm Julia. I wrote a little something. This all still doesn't feel real. I've grown the closest I've ever been with her in these past few years. I am blessed and grateful to call her one of my closest friends that I've shared some of the greatest and funniest memories with. I remember the first time I met her, I thought she was super shy and quiet all the time. But then all of a sudden, I was so surprised to find out she was the complete opposite. She is so energetic, funny, outgoing, and always knows how to get the party started or keep the party going. Karin was, well, crazy. I remember when we went to Spokane for a basketball tournament, and at that time, Karin absolutely hated, and I mean hated, people touching her hair. If they got close to her, she would immediately stay away because she didn't want anyone touching even the smallest strand. During one of the days before our basketball games, I was so proud of myself because I finally convinced her to braid her hair for the first time. I was so scared because I thought she was going to make me stop halfway, so I was braiding super duper fast. Karin and I had this joke that we would call each other our beanie twins because we would wear beanies to school almost every day. We would always wear beanies the same day at school, and people would always get us mixed up when they looked at us from the back. She told me that there should be one day when we dress up like each other and see how many people think we are each other. When I was injured and I couldn't play, Karin, Alana, and I cheered the team on and were the best scorekeepers. Before and after every game, when the team would do our cheers, all three of us would get in our own little circle and do our own cheer together. We would also have a certain way of sitting on the bench where Karin always sat beside Tina, then Alana, and then me. It was our little routine that was never broken. Mike and Tina would give us the "you guys" look with a smile and a chuckle as all three of us would laugh about our inside jokes and act super weird together on the bench. I was very lucky and happy to have seen her a month ago, and we went to go play basketball and hang out and talk about life at the park. And then on her birthday, I was able to surprise her with a gift with friends on her special day. I wish I could have said everything I could say to her and give her one last hug and laugh. You would have never known what Karin was going through if you looked at her, because she always had a smile on her face and always said everything was good. I'll forever miss when we would just die of laughter out of nowhere about the dumbest things. I'm going to miss all the talks about life and all the small little moments that we shared. I believe she is the only person in life who has shown me or taught me the most things in and about life and how to live life to the fullest. She always knew how to make someone smile or laugh. She has a legacy and friendships held in many people's hearts that stay with us forever. She is someone who has fought and conquered the unseen future. I will forever miss you, 2K, but I know that you're watching us over heaven with that smile on your face.
gotta, we still gotta stand some. It's not too late to build it back, 'cause a 1 in a million shots is still a chance, and I will take those odds. Unbreakable again, untainted sweetness, first find open hopeless, pull me out of the train wreck, unburn the ashes, unchain the reactions. Now I'm not ready to die, not yet. Pull me out of the train wreck, pull me out, pull me out, pull me out. You can say what you like to, 'cause I would die for you. Oh, I'm down on my knees and I need you to be my Lord, be my help, be a savior. Oh, yeah. Unbreakable again, unsteady sweetness, first find open hopeless, pull me out of the train wreck, unburn the ashes, unchain the reactions. And I'm not ready to die, not yet. Pull me out of the train wreck, pull me out, 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 pull me out.
My name is Caitlin and I'm a friend of Karen's. I want to start by giving gratitude to Karen's family. The time I have spent with you guys has truly made me recognize where the best of Karen comes from. Karen's resilience, kindness, and her tenacity is reflected in your dedication, support, and love towards her. You have shared Karen with us, and we are very grateful. I met Karen in elementary school. Together with another best friend, Kiana Frost, our friendship evolved in the intermediate grades. From there on, we became the KFC triangle, Khuong, Frost, and Chan. We felt pride in the fact that triangles are the strongest shapes, and therefore, we believed we had the strongest friendship. The triangle did musical theater together, where Karen and I auditioned for the musical Charlie Brown. I will not forget the time she came over to my house and we practiced singing together. I think we were both so nervous to sing in front of each other, but we quickly became comfortable after we both ended up sharing the part of Frida, a girl with red curly hair, which meant Karen and I had to wear a red wig, which looked crazy hilarious on us two cultured girls. Our friendship carried into middle school, where we would eat lunch together every day, sharing deets of our very dramatic lives as a 6th grader. After school, Kiana and I would go to Karen's house. This is where I had my first ever lessons of basketball taught by Karen. I called her the nice coach. Karen did not make me feel embarrassed when my basketball barely graced the hoop. Instead, she motivated me further. Later, our triangle developed into a wider friendship with new girls. At lunch, one would see Karen braiding the girls' hair while eating bites out of her lunch and making us laugh in between. In high school, although Karen and I attended different schools, our friendship continued. We would FaceTime and hang out on weekends. Once we decided to go to Rocky Point. We felt we were responsible enough to take the bus. But both of us were clueless with direction and did not know where to go and ended up in nowhere Kootenai Loop. Karen found this small, expensive cafe. She bought an unfairly priced muffin just so we could sit down, stay warm, and plan how to get back home. Even in the little things, Karen could naturally demonstrate her selflessness. Karen lived a fulfilling life. What defined her was her determination, ability to create laughter. perform and check on her friends, her drive to live it up, explore the world, and do crazy things like skydiving, and her constant love for her family. Karin always had hope and never gave up, and that uplifted people around her to feel comfortable in her presence. Karin's life would intimidate the average human being because it was so interesting. It possessed joy, love, adventure, and accomplishments. Karin always truly lived. There were a lot of things I wish Karin could have done. When I think of Karin's future, I imagine going to her basketball games at Simon Fraser University and watching her win MVP. One time, Karin told me she was somewhat interested in law, which didn't surprise me because as a student, she's described as engaged, in the moment, and always part of a conversation. So I envision her carrying her scholarly traits to winning court cases and then calling me up and saying, "Let's go, I just won my case." I also imagine Karin would be a mother and a basketball coach where she would always be proud of her players, just like she was with me. Today, I say farewell to an extraordinary friend and a decade-long friendship. As Winnie the Pooh once said, "How lucky am I to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard?" To know Karin is one of the greatest honors of my life. I will love and miss her very much.
Hi, I'm Janine. I'm Enzo and Diego's mom, and these are words and thoughts that Enzo prepared for today. Jacob, Karin, and Justin, and Diego and I have lived in the same cul-de-sac since we were born, Gateway Place. Karin and I were in Miss Sparks and Miss Olson's grade 1 class at Castle Park. We played together in elementary school, but we didn't really become good friends until middle school. Our friend group started playing together at lunch, and since then, Karin and I have spent so much time together in and out of school. Throughout our friendship, I have known Karin to be happy, compassionate, strong, a great athlete, and so much more. Our friendship began through playing Man Tracker every lunch hour with all our friends. I remember all the times that I was it and got frustrated because Karin was always too fast for me to catch up with her. She was also too fast for me to get away from her when she was it. Eventually, I got tired of not being able to keep up with her, so I decided to team up with Karin and a few of our friends, and we agreed that we wouldn't tag each other if one of us was it. Because we had so much fun playing Man Tracker during lunch hour, we decided to start playing Man Tracker with all our friends who lived on Gateway in the summers. Our brothers, Carter, Kennedy, Noah and Taya, and the McIntoshes. We played almost every single summer night, and eventually, we began to play other games too, like Camouflage, Horse, and 21. I have played Horse and 21 with Karin so many times, and every time we played, I lost, including the times I asked to have a rematch. Even though I never won, I didn't want to admit to Karin that I couldn't beat her, but I think she knew. Since then, Karin, Justin, Diego, and I have gotten so much closer, and we have spent so many days and nights together. We used to just hang out in the summers because that's when we didn't have too many after-school activities. We'd play around at the cul-de-sac, and we went to the beach with our moms to Sassamat and Harrison Lakes. One of our most memorable late-night adventures was one night when Karin, Justin, and Diego and I were scootering at the Hazel Trembath skate park. We noticed a car in the gravel field, and usually there wouldn't be anyone there, but we didn't think too much of it at the time. As we were leaving, Justin and I had already crossed the street towards the duck pond to go home. Karen and Diego were still at the skate park, just a bit behind us. The car started driving out of the parking lot really fast with all their windows open. It was a full car. And the guys in the car were yelling out the window saying, "604, we have guns." They probably thought we were going to Castle Park School, so they drove that way, but we cut through the duck pond and through the middle school field. While we were trying to get down the hill towards our cul-de-sac, we heard the same car drive up the middle school driveway. They were trying to cut us off on the way home. So we scootered as fast but as quietly as we could without them noticing us. Then they seemed really close, so we decided to hide behind the bushes. We all crouched down, and then we saw Karen was hiding on the wrong side of the bush, right in plain sight. We realized that the guys probably saw her, so we just scooted down the hill as fast as we could back to our house. This past winter, we went sledding off jumps in the dark at Citadel Park Hill and Castle Park Hill. Even though Karen was in a lot of pain throughout this year, when we hung out, she always seemed happy and never mentioned what she was going through. Despite all the pain that Karen was feeling, she didn't want to talk about it with us, even though it was hard for us not to ask her how she was doing. We needed to respect what she had asked us to do. She wanted us to keep things normal for her sake, and that's what we did. We're grateful that she did the last set of treatments, even if it was hard for her, because it gave us more time with her this summer. It also gave Karen more time to check things off her bucket list, like going skydiving and ziplining, and just regular things, like watching Netflix together and making s'mores. Karen, I'm so grateful for all the times we spent together, the memories that we shared, and everything you taught me. You taught me to live life to the fullest and to face every challenge fearlessly. Gateway Place won't be the same without you. I'll never forget you. You'll always be in my heart.
Hello, everyone. I'm May, my husband Mike. We're Karen's aunt and uncle. Today I have the honor of sharing stories of our beautiful niece. We all know how special Karen is to each and every one of you. She has touched so many people. Karen was a positive role model, especially to our daughter. We have many memories of Karen and her brother Jacob and Justin visiting our house in Nanaimo during the spring and summer breaks. It was also a time for Jen and Anthony to get the house to themselves. Karen was always helpful in watching and playing with our daughter. Last year, we were able to send Peyton over to Jen and Anthony's house for a sleepover for 8 days. Karen, being Peyton's favorite cousin, would let her sleep in her room. Little did Karen know, Peyton had a hard time sleeping and getting homesick a lot. She would wake up Karen almost every night to use her cell phone at 3 a.m. to call me. Karen probably lost some hours of sleep, but she definitely made it one of Peyton's best memories with her. This past summer, we had more opportunity to spend time with Karen. Even though she was tired, she would always make time for Peyton and Wesley. Karen will forever be in our hearts, and may all your memories with her help heal the hurt in time. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. And thank you to all of you who have shared. I think we've heard some unique stories, and I think we've also heard some themes along Karin's character and the way she saw and lived life, and I love it. I have the privilege of reading from both Justin and then Jacob. And then after that, the family just wanted to invite anyone else who wanted to share briefly to come up and to do so. And maybe it's a quick funny story or something about her that you loved, but the family would like that very much so just after I share. And so first, Justin, I will put yours in the spotlight here and let me read what you wrote about your sister. You said, Karin, you're the best sister I could have ever asked for. We had so many memories. We would hang out with Enzo and Diego every night in the summer. We would go on walks and roam the street at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. Okay, I just want to be... and then we'd come back and make s'mores and watch Netflix. And Karin, you would fall asleep every time. One of the funniest times was when we were making s'mores with Karin and Enzo and Diego. And I have no idea who it was of the four of us, but one of us chucked a graham cracker over a fence. And 30 seconds later, a woman peeked over with her head, and she said to us, "Was that a flying graham cracker?" I know it sounds stupid, but we were laughing for the whole night. I love you forever, Justin. Jacob wrote this. Karin was an amazing sister. As these past few years have gone by, we've become a lot closer to one another. I know we had our ups and downs, but we had some pretty funny memories along the way. Karin always had a positive mindset and never made anyone feel upset or even uncomfortable. Over these past few years, I have never seen her complain to others what she has always been going through. She always prioritized her friends and family first. Karin never ever wanted anyone to feel bad for her. Some nights I would see her sitting on the couch watching TV casually, but really she was in a lot of pain and discomfort. As I spent my last day with Karin in the hospital, I started to remember all the good times and memories that we had on our family vacation trips. As I heard Karin wouldn't be getting better after her treatment, I knew I had to cherish this moment with her and tell her that, quote, she was an amazing sister and how much I loved her. And now things won't be simply the same without you around the house. I'll miss you when you would take my speaker or even the loud screaming in the house. I know you're in a better place and you'll be watching over us. Rest in easy, Karin, from your big brother, Jacob. Thank you guys for sharing today. Well, I'm going to get out of the way here, and if anyone wants to come, you're more than welcome. Please come up here so that people watching on live stream can hear you. And then we'll transition to Anthony and Jen before the slideshow. Don't want to drag this out too long, but I want to make sure if anyone wants to share that they can at this time. Justin and Jacob, I think you guys wrote such beautiful words, and now I think you set the standard too high. I think people are like, I can't follow that. But I also want to let you know, too, that you are free to share during the reception that is here for those of you who are on site. Keep Karin at the center of your conversations and memories and everything as well. And for those of you who are watching on live stream, do the same. Whatever you're doing afterwards, if you're with people, just talk about Karin. Talk about some stories and memories that you have, and just make this a continuation of what we have today. But in the meantime, Anthony and Jim, would you come?
Earlier this year, when the lockdown began, I asked Karin if she would like to learn how to drive, and she took me on that offer. Went to the Costco parking lot just around here on a Sunday night as Costco closes around 5 p.m. On the way there, I started telling her all the safety aspect of driving, changing lanes, telling her the type of signs along the way and what speed limits were. But I think she turned on her selective hearing at that time. She was either texting Alicia or posting funny faces on Snapchat. When we got there, we started to swap seats. I asked her to position the seats and adjust the mirrors. After that, she asked me, what do I do next? And which ones were the brakes and gas pedals? It didn't dawn on me that she didn't know the basics of mechanics of a car. At that time, I don't know if I made the right decision to let her drive. For the first 15 minutes of her driving, I vividly recall my hands were shaking. Eventually, she managed to pull through with all her driving. Also learned how to back up, park in one of the parking stalls. Only after a couple of driving lessons with me, overly confident, told me she was a better driver than Jacob. I just smirked. As some of you may know, finding a common interest with a teenage daughter may be difficult, so having the opportunity to bond and teach her how to drive was very special to me. I'd also like to thank everyone who shared many funny, silly photos, videos of her. We also heard many great stories that you have experienced with her. We felt very blessed, also very proud of her for all her accomplishments.
Karin was such a sweet baby. Her chubby little cheeks, her cute as a button eyes, and a big smile that lit up her room. She loved cuddles as a baby. I would hug and squeeze her and kiss her cheeks. She was my Care Bear. She was super shy when she was younger. I remember one time I received a call for an audition for Karin to be in a movie scene. I'm not sure what movie it was, but they did tell me that she had a really good chance of getting the part, as her look was exactly what they wanted. So I drove her down to Burnaby to where the movie productions are, and once we got there, I warned them that she's pretty shy. They said all she has to do is say hi and introduce herself to us. Karin went into the room alone, and well, she didn't say a word, and she looked the other way. I can totally picture it. They sat there in silence for a few minutes. She didn't get the part. Over the years, Karin gained her confidence and became a very social butterfly. She was a loyal friend. She had many different friend groups, and she never made anyone feel left out. I am very thankful for her friends as they helped shape Karin to be the kind of person she was. They were there for her when she needed them the most, and now they are here for us. She was a natural athlete at pretty much anything. She enjoyed many sports, but her favorites were soccer and basketball. She played high levels in both, but eventually picked basketball as the one to excel in. Watching her play hoops was pretty amazing. She was strong, fast, and skilled. She was humble when it came to her abilities. She knew she was good, but she was never cocky about it. She would set her teammates up rather than her take the shot. That's just how she was. But when her coaches needed her to step it up or count on her for a play, she didn't disappoint. She was a true team player. I will miss our tourney road trips together, and I'm sad that she couldn't have gone on to greatness. She had huge potential. Karin had all the great qualities of a strong young woman. She was kind, bright, confident, and determined. She always strived to do and be the best. She was a bit of a perfectionist, especially when it came to schoolwork or projects. I remember this one project she was working on. She spent like a week researching, cutting, gluing, and designing. She showed it to me and I said, "Oh wow, that looks really good," because it was. She said, "Nah, I don't like it, I'm redoing it." And so she did, and she ended up getting an A on it. Karin put all her energy and effort into everything she did, and it showed. She was a crafty and creative one. Her art projects and hobbies ranged from painting on canvas, wood carving, making her own picture frames, redesigning her room multiple times, creating bath bombs, painting rocks, making TikTok videos, and even ear piercing. I loved how adventurous she was. Most of the recent experiences we did, I would have never thought of or dreamed of doing, like going to the ice hotel in Sweden and sleeping on a block of ice and it's minus 10 degrees in the room, and going dog sledding. I also never wanted to jump out of a plane at 10,000 feet. I wasn't too crazy about ziplining, but hey, we just jumped out of a plane, so it should be easy. I just don't think I'm that adventurous or daring like her, and I am truly thankful she gifted us with so many great memories that we will never forget. Hard to believe, but Karin didn't like to go shopping before. I remember that I used to encourage her to come shopping with me and shop the sales, but she just didn't want to. She'd rather play hoops in the cul-de-sac or hang with friends. Fast forward a couple years, she had quite the shoe collection and trying to have all the colors to color coordinate her hoodies. She became my little shopping buddy. I miss our retail therapy, even though she had expensive taste. These last 2 years, we had become so close. Karin was my best friend, and I miss her so much. I am so grateful for our time together. My days feel so lonely and empty without her goofiness, her smirk, and her constant texts and calls to me. I am truly honored to be Karin's mom. She makes me so proud. Her courage and bravery throughout her battling cancer and life is so inspiring. She is my hero. If I have learned anything from Karin, it's that you need to embrace your family and friends, take chances, make a bucket list and actually do it, and live your life to your absolute fullest with no regrets. 2K strong forever.
every day in the sky. I also run the faces of people passing by. See friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They really say, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Someday I wish upon a star, wake up with the clouds I far behind. We will travel just like a London drop, high above the chimney top, that's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dream that you did to, why, oh why can't I? It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Yeah, who knew? All the planes we flew, the things we've been through. That I be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride. Without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. Come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Go out your way in the vibe is feeling strong and was small. Turn to a friendship, a friendship turn to a bond, and that bond will never be broken, and love will never get lost. And when brotherhood comes, then the line will never be crossed. Established it on our own when that line had to be drawn, and that line is what we need, so remember me when I'm gone. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side. And now you're gonna be with me for the last ride. Let the light guide your way. Yeah. Hold every memory as you go. And every road you take will always lead you home. Oh, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
memories, and the memories bring back memories bring back you. There's a trembling I remember when I never felt so lost, and I felt all the hatred was too burn for the stars. And my heart feels like an ember, and it's not enough now. I'll carry these torches for you, and you know I'll never drop. Yeah, everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday. Everything will be alright. No one is a person say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got more. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones that ain't. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back your.
Karen's smile is certainly contagious, guys. Well, that was so good. And we know that today, again, is hard. Sorry, I want to remind us we grieve not only today, but we grieve after the service is done. We continue to grieve for as long as we need to. We have questions that don't need answered today. We know it's hard. And we know that we get to celebrate Karin long, long, long after today as well. Before we close, I just want to touch on one aspect of Karin. In thinking about her and her journey, even though her illness has not defined her, I think it has in this way, and I want to explain this here. There's a quote by an author, her name is Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, that I think is so appropriate for today. And she says, "The most beautiful people we have in life are those who have known suffering and struggle and have found their way out of the depths. These people have an appreciation and understanding of life that fills them with gentleness and a deep loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen." And when I see a picture of Karin skydiving, I think to myself, she's found a way out of the depths. Because she has let her beauty for life and her insatiable hunger for life define her, not her illness. When I see her smiling with friends and living life, as many of you have said, to its full, it reminds me that she's found her way out of the depths. That her struggling and suffering does not define her. And I think that she just lived very much in the moment. And I don't know about you, but a lot of times I find for myself that I find myself trying to live in the next moment. And it affects now. In other words, we might think about the next grade in school or the next exam we have coming up. We might wonder what happens after graduation, what job I'm going to get, what's going to happen at my meeting tomorrow, or what the next day holds. Not that Karin didn't spend any time thinking about these things, but I don't think this was the bulk of her thinking. I think she opened up her hands. I think she accepted what was in front of her, and she just constantly enjoyed the moment for what it was. And I think this has to be an inspiration to all of us. And one of the many lessons that we take from Karin moving forward in life, we take her beautiful memory and we take her legacy. This legacy of enjoying life for what it is, enjoying the community around us. And so I want to ask you and plead with you to continue to remember Karin. Share tears over her. Share laughter through stories of her. Share and process and grieve and celebrate and remember and honor and live. I think all of this helps us to both honor her and to heal. We are going to close our time here now. And again, for those who are here, we're going to have a reception. In just a moment, Jesse's going to come and he's going to lead the family out first. I want to just invite you all to remain seated until your row is dismissed. Then we'll head to the reception room and just continue to share stories and the emotions that we feel today. And again, for those of you who are watching on live stream, I want to say on behalf of the family, thank you so much for watching this today, for honoring Karin both today and to honor her in the seasons ahead, in talking about her, in thinking about how she lived life, and to emulate yours in many ways of hers as well. So I want to bless you all today as you go. Thank you for coming today. And may the goodness and joy and perspective and blessing of Karin be a blessing to all of us as we go as well. Have a good rest of your weekend, everyone. Just remain seated, and Jesse will come in just a second here.